The sun has always been something of a celebrity in human history, worshipped, painted, longed for in winter, and cursed when it overstays its welcome on summer skin. But perhaps no nutrient captures this ambivalence better than vitamin D, the so-called sunshine vitamin, which we synthesize through our skin under the influence of UVB rays. It sounds poetic until you realize the very same rays responsible for this life-enhancing conversion are also potent DNA saboteurs. It's a bit like hiring a personal trainer who gets you in shape and then punches you in the face every now and then just to keep you humble. Vitamin D is crucial for more than just bones, though the bone story alone is impressive. Without it, calcium absorption plummets, and we end up softening our skeletons like forgotten bananas in a desk drawer. But vitamin D goes far beyond that, playing behind-the-scenes roles in hormone production, immune cell programming, and even insulin sensitivity. In fact, deficiencies in vitamin D have been linked to higher risks of autoimmune conditions, depression, cardiovascular disease, and even certain cancers. This makes sun exposure not only a mood lifter, but a kind of daily metabolic tune-up session, albeit one without clear dosage instructions. And that's the twist. Your body isn't a dimmer switch. It can't say, okay, that's enough UVB for today, thanks. Once the rays hit your skin, you're on the ride, good or bad. Vitamin D synthesis maxes out after a certain point, but the UV damage potential keeps going like a solar-powered Energizer bunny. That's why prolonged sun exposure can feel a bit like eating cake for the antioxidants. There's a point at which the benefits disappear and the consequences expand in all directions. The same radiation that tells your skin to make more vitamin D is also throwing molecular wrenches into your DNA replication machinery, increasing the risk for melanoma and other skin cancers. And the catch? You don't feel UVB damage when it happens. It doesn't hurt until later, after you've turned a light shade of lobster and your cells have quietly begun writing letters of resignation to your genetic code. But this isn't a cautionary tale meant to drive you indoors to live as a pale, shadowy mushroom person. It's more of a nudge toward moderation, and maybe a friendly reminder that nature rarely gives without taking something in return. Think of the sun as a friend who gives you fantastic life advice but always insists on borrowing money. You don't cut them off entirely, but you do keep an eye on the pattern. Of course, the sun isn't alone in this love-hate category of health elements. Plenty of other natural allies carry similar terms and conditions you might overlook in the fine print. Take turmeric, the golden child of anti-inflammatory food trends. It's revered for curcumin, its active compound that can modulate inflammatory pathways, improve insulin sensitivity, and even show promise in cancer research. But eat too much of it, and your gallbladder might start picketing with tiny protest signs because curcumin can stimulate bile flow a little too enthusiastically. Also, it can mess with the way your liver processes medications. So yes, turmeric is like that passionate activist friend who occasionally forgets there's a traffic law. Then there's grapefruit, sweet, tangy, and glowing with vitamin C, until you realize it moonlights as a metabolic saboteur. It can inhibit cytochrome P450 enzymes in the liver, which are responsible for breaking down drugs like statins, antihistamines, and some antidepressants. So if you're trying to boost your immune system and end up with too much medication in your bloodstream, you've learned the hard way that grapefruit isn't always the breakfast saint it pretends to be. Even cruciferous vegetables like kale and broccoli, which are practically nutritional royalty at this point, carry baggage. They're rich in sulforaphane and indole, 3-carbinol, compounds with potential anti-cancer benefits. But eat them raw and excessively, and they can interfere with thyroid hormone production by disrupting iodine uptake. This makes them a strange paradox, plant superheroes who occasionally forget whose side they're on. Coffee is another wild card. Antioxidants, increased alertness, improved metabolic rate, all good. But it can also raise cortisol levels, dehydrate you if you're overdoing it, interfere with iron absorption, and induce bone loss if your calcium intake is inadequate. Essentially, coffee helps you work faster while your nutrients pack their bags and sneak out the back door. And let's not forget green tea, the ultimate health beverage. It's packed with catechins that lower oxidative stress, reduce cancer risk, and modulate blood sugar. But those same catechins bind iron and reduce folate levels if consumed in heroic doses. It's a gentle reminder that the path to wellness isn't always paved with more. Sometimes it's paved with balance and the wisdom to stop drinking after your 5th cup. Coming back to the sun, It might help to see it as part of this larger, beautiful, complicated dance between nature and the body. Every natural substance, from herbs to light to liquids, carries potential, not just for healing, but for harm, depending on context. It's all about timing, quantity, personal sensitivity, and sometimes just plain luck. So yes, step into the sun, but not for hours, and ideally not naked on a rooftop. Accept vitamin D as a necessary co-conspirator in your body's wellness plot, but don't treat UV rays like a one-way ticket to invincibility. If you want to be strategic, aim for short, regular exposures, about 10 to 20 minutes depending on your skin tone and latitude. Then step back into the shade like a health-savvy vampire who knows when the magic ends and the mutation begins. And maybe grab some mushrooms or fortified oat milk while you're at it. Because when nature gives you a glow, it's only polite to check for the hidden price tag.